Good evening and welcome to NoorNews. Tonight, we track the escalating wildfire crisis in France as temperatures soar, and look ahead to a high-stakes meeting between Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. We also examine how Oman is leveraging cutting-edge technology to combat the growing threat of flash floods. Emergency crews in southwest France are bracing for a significant escalation in wildfire activity as the region prepares for a new heatwave. Temperatures are forecast to climb toward 40 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, creating conditions that officials warn will severely complicate ongoing containment efforts in the Gironde department. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, firefighters have been working around the clock to establish fire breaks and protect residential areas, but the combination of high temperatures, low humidity, and shifting winds threatens to undo recent progress. The Gironde region has already seen thousands of hectares of forest destroyed this season, and authorities have issued high-level alerts as the mercury begins to rise. Local emergency services are currently reinforcing their presence on the ground, prioritizing the protection of vulnerable communities while monitoring the potential for new ignition points. Meteorologists indicate that this extreme heat event is expected to persist through the remainder of the week, placing immense pressure on regional resources. While containment lines remain in place, the extreme weather conditions are expected to test the limits of current firefighting capabilities as the department faces one of its most challenging climate-driven crises in recent years. Saudi Arabia has officially unveiled the visual identity for its 2026 National Day, centered on the theme, "Our Pride is in Our Nature." The announcement was made on Tuesday by Turki al-Sheikh, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority. According to the Saudi Gazette, this new visual framework is designed to serve as a unified standard for government, private, and non-profit entities. By providing a consistent set of guidelines for media and communication materials, the initiative aims to ensure a cohesive presentation of the National Day across all platforms and celebratory events. The identity is intended to reflect the kingdom's national significance while fostering a deep sense of belonging among its citizens. The conceptual design draws inspiration from core Saudi societal values, specifically highlighting courage, vision, authenticity, determination, generosity, and hospitality. This standardized approach builds upon the framework first introduced during last year's campaign, which sought to streamline the visual representation of the holiday. By establishing these clear guidelines, the General Entertainment Authority intends to maintain a professional and uniform aesthetic that honors the occasion's importance. The identity will now be implemented across various national channels to guide the upcoming celebrations, ensuring that the visual narrative remains aligned with the kingdom's broader cultural and national objectives. Oman is integrating artificial intelligence, satellite imagery, and drone technology into its national infrastructure to bolster resilience against the increasing threat of flash floods. According to the Times of Oman, the Sultanate's authorities are deploying these advanced digital tools to enhance real-time monitoring, improve predictive modeling, and streamline emergency response coordination across vulnerable regions. By leveraging high-resolution satellite data, officials aim to map flood-prone areas with greater precision, while AI-driven analytics will process meteorological patterns to provide earlier warnings for local communities. The initiative also incorporates the use of unmanned aerial vehicles to conduct rapid damage assessments in areas that may be inaccessible to ground teams during severe weather events. This technological shift represents a significant upgrade to Oman's disaster management framework, moving from reactive measures to a more proactive, data-informed strategy. As climate variability continues to pose challenges for the Gulf region, these investments are designed to safeguard critical infrastructure and minimize the socio-economic impact of extreme weather. The government expects that the integration of these systems will significantly reduce response times and improve the overall accuracy of flood risk assessments, ensuring a more robust defense against future environmental hazards. Families and community members gathered in Seattle on Monday to mourn the 3 individuals killed during a shooting at a local food festival. The victims, described by loved ones as vibrant people who cherished their community and culture, were remembered in a series of emotional tributes held throughout the city. According to the BBC, the incident has left the neighborhood in shock as investigators continue to piece together the events that led to the violence. While the investigation remains active, authorities have focused on providing support services to the families of those lost and the many witnesses who were present when the gunfire erupted. The festival, which was intended to be a celebration of local culinary traditions, was brought to an abrupt and tragic end, prompting a wider conversation about public safety at large-scale community gatherings. City officials have expressed their condolences, emphasizing the need for unity as the community begins the difficult process of grieving. As the investigation proceeds, local law enforcement is working to ensure that all protocols regarding event security are reviewed to prevent future occurrences. For now, the focus remains on honoring the lives of the victims and supporting those most affected by this tragedy. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House this Tuesday. This marks the first face-to-face encounter between the two leaders since the outbreak of the ongoing conflict with Iran. The meeting comes at a critical juncture, as the two allies have publicly diverged on their strategic approaches to the regional escalation. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the discussions are expected to focus on bridging these policy gaps and coordinating future military and diplomatic maneuvers. While both administrations have historically maintained a close security partnership, recent statements from officials suggest significant friction regarding the scope and duration of the current operations. Analysts note that the White House is seeking to align its regional objectives with Israeli security requirements, even as international pressure mounts for a de-escalation of hostilities. The meeting is widely viewed as a pivotal moment for the future of the conflict, as observers look for signs of a unified stance or a continued rift in policy. Both leaders are under intense domestic and international scrutiny to provide a clear roadmap for the coming weeks, as the humanitarian and geopolitical consequences of the war continue to intensify across the Middle East. The United Nations has issued a stark warning regarding the rapid deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation across the occupied West Bank. According to Q&A, the international body expressed grave concern over the escalating cycle of violence in the region, specifically condemning the surge in attacks carried out by settlers against Palestinian civilians and their property. UN officials highlighted that the current trajectory of events is undermining the prospects for stability and further complicating an already fragile environment. The report emphasizes that the intensification of these incidents is contributing to a broader climate of instability, necessitating urgent attention from the international community to prevent further escalation. The United Nations has reiterated its call for all parties to exercise maximum restraint and to uphold their obligations under international law to protect civilians. This warning comes amid a documented increase in confrontations and restrictive measures that have severely impacted the daily lives and movement of Palestinians throughout the territory. The UN continues to monitor the situation closely, stressing that the protection of civilian populations remains a primary concern as tensions show no immediate signs of subsiding. The organization maintains that addressing the root causes of this violence is essential to restoring order and ensuring the safety of all residents in the West Bank. European football's governing body, Uefa, has expressed strong opposition to FIFA's latest proposals regarding the future financial structure of its major competitions. According to reports from the BBC, UEFA officials have reacted with fury to plans from FIFA President Gianni Infantino to seek significant private investment for international tournaments, including the FIFA World Cup. The governing body for European football has voiced concerns that such a move could fundamentally alter the landscape of the sport and undermine the existing governance structures that currently oversee global football. While FIFA maintains that exploring new revenue streams is essential for the long-term sustainability and growth of the game, UEFA's leadership has signaled deep skepticism, suggesting that private equity involvement could compromise the integrity of the competitions. The friction highlights a growing divide between the two organizations over how the sport should be commercialized on a global scale. As discussions continue, the proposal has sparked a wider debate among stakeholders regarding the influence of private capital in international sporting events. FIFA has yet to provide a detailed breakdown of how this investment model would be implemented, leaving many national associations awaiting further clarity on the potential impact on the World Cup's traditional organizational framework. Thank you for joining us for this verified update on today's global headlines. We remain committed to bringing you the facts you can trust. NoorNews, verified before published.